We're going to get started this hour, though, with that breaking news in Madison, Wisconsin, where police are trying to piece together what might have motivated a teenage girl to open fire on her school. A teacher and another teenage student were killed in the shooting Monday morning at the Abundant Life Christian School. 6 other people were injured. Well, police have identified the shooter as 15-year-old Natalie Rupp now. They say she died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound on the way to a hospital. Her parents are now cooperating with authorities. NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster is in Madison with the latest on their investigation.
Good morning, Savannah. Access to the school is still closed off, considered an active crime scene. We know investigators will be back later today to see what other physical evidence they can uncover at the scene after they say a teenage girl opened fire during a study hall period just yesterday. And now it's leaving another community in America reeling after another school shooting.
This morning, a heartbroken community searching for answers after a teacher and student were killed in a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School.
The shooting happened inside a classroom in a study hall of students from mixed grades.
Overnight, police identifying the shooter as 15-year-old Natalie Rupp now, who went by Samantha.
She was a student at the school, and evidence suggests she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Investigators searching her home Monday. Authorities say a second grader at the school called 911 for help.
Don't let that soak in for a minute. A second grade student called 911 at 10:57 a.m. to report a shooting at school.
EMS can come in, shooter is down.
A teenager and a teacher were killed. 6 others were hurt, including 2 students with life-threatening injuries. Police crediting a team of medics on a training exercise nearby with aiding in the response. Anxious parents rushing to the school to pick up their children.
If your kids are at school, they are not okay. If they are at church, they are not okay. Well, where are they going to be safe?
And students processing the tragedy. What are your classmates like? What are your teachers like?
They're crying, some are scared. Yeah, hugging each other.
As authorities work to identify a motive and examine the shooter's social media, also interviewing her father for hours.
The parents are fully cooperating. We have no reason to believe that they have committed a crime.
President Biden saying in a statement the FBI is assisting the investigation, writing it is unacceptable that we are unable to protect our children from this scourge of gun violence. The attack comes less than 2 weeks after 2 kindergarten students were shot at Seventh-day Adventist School in Northern California.
Our pain and our hurt.
Last night at a vigil for the Madison victims, families joining in prayer in an effort to make sense of another senseless tragedy.
And police say a handgun was used in the shooting, but investigators are still trying to figure out how the suspect was able to get access to that handgun. Meanwhile, there's another vigil scheduled for later today as the community continues the calls for prayers from across the country as there are still 2 victims in the hospital facing life-threatening injuries. Savannah?
All right, Shaq, thank you very much. Well, now to the presidential transition as President-elect Trump continues to defend Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as his choice to become Health and Human Services Secretary. Kennedy made an appearance on Capitol Hill yesterday as he begins meeting with Republican lawmakers. This comes as Mr. Trump held his first news conference since winning the election last month. NBC's Garrett Haake joins us now from West Palm Beach, Florida with the latest. This press conference covered quite a bit. Hey, Garrett, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, it really did. For more than an hour, the president-elect at his first news conference in that role held forth on topics from Ukraine to his relationship with CEOs, but no topic more so than Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his bid to lead the nation's health agencies. President-elect Trump's polarizing pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., returning to Capitol Hill this morning for a marathon day of meetings with senators. Kennedy, the former independent presidential candidate turned Trump supporter and longtime vaccine skeptic, pressed on his views about the polio vaccine as he shuttled between meetings. Kennedy has long touted discredited claims of a link between childhood vaccines and autism, which have been repeatedly debunked, leading to concerns about what his leadership of the federal health agencies could mean. What do you say to people who are worried that his views on vaccines will translate into policies that will make their kids less safe?
No, I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there.
Trump asked later if schools should mandate vaccinations, pivoting to COVID.
I don't like mandates. I was against mandates. Mostly Democrat governors did the mandates.
But school vaccination requirements are set by states, with the federal government providing vaccine approvals, recommendations, and schedules, limiting the direct influence Kennedy or Trump could have. Trump also announcing a $100 billion investment from Japanese technology firm SoftBank, which he says will create 100,000 new American jobs by the end of his term, and remarking on his improving relationship with tech company leaders who have traveled to Mar-a-Lago to meet him.
In the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. The biggest difference is that people want to get along with me this time.
Still, the president-elect's facing a new legal setback today, with a New York judge who presided over his hush money trial now denying Trump's bid to toss out his guilty verdict. The president-elect's lawyers had argued that verdict should be vacated in light of the Supreme Court's ruling expanding the scope of presidential immunity. The judge has not yet set a sentencing date. Among those tech company leaders coming down here to South Florida, according to a source familiar, the CEO of TikTok met with Donald Trump yesterday, as that company filed an emergency petition yesterday with the Supreme Court to try to prevent being shut down on January 19th. At the press conference, Donald Trump sounded sympathetic, but there may be little he can do as a private citizen until his inauguration the next day, January 20th. Savannah?
All right, Garrett, thank you so much. Well, now let's get to the latest this morning involving those mysterious drone sightings across the Northeast. It is still unclear who's operating them and for what reason, since they started being spotted last month. Well, now Pentagon officials are reiterating there is no indication of what they are calling malicious activity. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello covers aviation for us. He is here with more. Tom, a lot of people with a lot of questions on this one. Good morning.
Believe me, I can't walk 5 feet without people asking.
As soon as he got in here, I was like, what's going on?
I know. Listen, the bottom line, the vast majority of these sightings appear to be planes, helicopters, legitimate drone operations, some other drone operations, hobbyists, right? Drones are legal, everybody. They're legal. Keep that in mind. The NYPD says there are about, listen to this, the NYPD says there are 2,000 drone flights every week right here in New York City. And a lot of these reports over the last few weeks are really just, in the NYPD's words, business as usual.
With the Christmas travel rush just days away, overnight the government released a rare joint statement from multiple agencies about those drone sightings, saying we have not identified anything anomalous and do not assess the activity to present a national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast, though the push continues for answers about thousands of sightings.
We want to make sure our skies are protected, and we don't want anyone using drones that's going to be harmful.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is pushing for legislation to give states more authority to deal with drones.
It is extraordinary to me that a nation as great as ours and as powerful as ours has the deficiencies that we have now seen in living color as it relates to drone incursions.
The NYPD says many of the tips they've investigated are actually planes, helicopters, even planets. President-elect Trump is suggesting, without offering evidence, that the government or military knows more about the drones than they're saying.
Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
Adding that he's canceled a weekend trip to his New Jersey club because of the sightings.
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster.
Some lawmakers, Democrats and Republicans, remain frustrated with the federal response.
I won't let the federal government insult the American people and claim they aren't seeing things that they're seeing with their own 2 eyes.
Meanwhile, a company specializing in drone radar, Robin Radar, is now working with the New Jersey State Police.
How can your technology help the New Jersey State Troopers?
They will be able to detect an object in the sky and also provide some data analysis of what, in fact, that object is, where it's going, and possibly its origins.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate this. Drones are legal in daytime and at nighttime. Now, the FAA requires they remain under 400 feet. They must stay at least 5 miles away from airports and restricted areas. They must be in the line of sight of the drone operator, and the operator must have a license for larger drones and also commercial activity.
I don't know. Are you fired up, Tom?
Well, listen, as soon as I walk out of the studio, 5 more people are going to ask me, what about the drones,
No,
Tom?
honestly, you're being very helpful, and this is the clearest information we've seen. One quick question for you. What about people who maybe they're flying over their house, over the yard, and they want to shoot them down?
Okay, by the way, you do not control the airspace over your house. You do not.
Very important point.
That's an important point. Second of all, the FBI just said, do not shoot at drones. You may be really shooting at planes, at helicopters, at legitimate drones. And if you hit something, all that debris comes down, somebody on the ground gets hurt or killed. It is a felony to fire at an aircraft, and a drone is considered an aircraft.
And many of them are legal.
They are legal,
I think you mentioned
period.
that. Tom Castillo, thank you very much. Great to see you. Well, the next court appearance for Luigi Mangione is scheduled for December 30th in Pennsylvania, where he's facing felony gun charges after his arrest last week. But New York officials are hoping to get a grand jury indictment in the coming days so they can extradite the 26-year-old back to Manhattan before then. Mangione is accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson nearly 2 weeks ago. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk is live for us. This is right where Mangione is currently in prison in Pennsylvania. Stephanie, good morning. Great to see you. So Mangione was taken into custody last week, but the New York District Attorney has said there were indications that if Mangione would waive his extradition, it would be today. So walk us through everything we know right now, when we might see what.
Okay, Savannah, well, it could be today, but the important thing there, and you mentioned it earlier, is this indictment out of the grand jury in New York City. Now, a source close to the investigation tells us that indictment could be handed up sometime this week. And as you mentioned, the DA said there are signs that Mangione may not fight the extradition, even though he was here in this courthouse last week saying he would fight the extradition. What's changed? Well, he has a new New York attorney, and with a new attorney could come new legal strategy. Savannah.
Steph, even though the legal proceedings have stalled for now, public interest has, of course, continued to grow. In fact, a crowdsourcing website has now raised more than $130 with that money, saying it's being designated for his defense. Tell us about, I guess the word is the support he's getting, kind of this bizarre, in some ways inappropriate reaction online.
Right. I mean, you have that crowdfunding site, over $130,000 for his defense fund. You also have a documentary that's in the works. But you also have public officials coming out and saying, listen, this guy is not a hero. Most recently, President-elect Donald Trump, and he had this to say.
I think it's a terrible thing. I think it's really terrible that some people seem to admire him, like him. Just a cold-blooded, horrible killing, and how people can like this guy is that's a sickness, actually.
Mangione is accused of killing a 50-year-old father of 2 on the streets of New York City. Savannah.
All right, Stephanie Goss, thank you for your continued reporting here. Well, there's more heavy rain and snow on the way for the Northwest this morning. Let's get a check on your morning news now. Weather, we've got Angie Lassman joining us. Hey, Angie, good morning.
Hi, Savannah. Good morning to you. Last weekend, we saw plenty of rain and snow working across parts of the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to get another round of that here as we go through the next day or so. We've also got a bit of rain working across parts of New England and the Southeast. We'll get to that, but let's start out west where there's already winter alerts up. You can see for plenty of folks, these are likely going to stay up here for the next day or so, and you can see why. This next system is at their doorstep. It will work in through parts of specifically Washington and Oregon today, but that's where we could likely see some of that flooding occurring with the heavy rain and the additional snowfall across that region, specifically the Cascades and the Rockies will pick up some of that snowfall accumulation. By tomorrow, much of it, the snow works into parts of the northern plains. Not all that impressive, but it'll still accumulate, still leave us with some travel troubles in that area. Meanwhile, a little farther south across parts of Southern California, we still have these red flag warnings up at Santa Clarita, Malibu, Camarillo, all included in that with wind gusts elevated, low humidity once again. So we're going to watch for the potential for an elevated, if not critical, risk for fire weather through the day today. Those same kind of areas, Santa Clarita and Thousand Oaks, included in that critical risk through today. Meanwhile, out east, we had a whole bunch of rain yesterday across parts of the Northeast. Specifically, the east was quite soggy. We still have some of that left over the farther north you go, up into mainly portions of Maine at this time. But we're going to get another round of some rain on the way just in time for tomorrow. In the meantime, though, it's parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes that'll see some potential snow falling as this next system starts to work to the east. We'll see the rain start to ramp up as well. It's much warmer across parts of the mid-Atlantic and points south, even up into the Northeast. So most likely fall as rain tomorrow. So Boston to New York and down to Washington, D.C. Elsewhere, we see up into parts of interior New England, that's where some snow will fall. Here's those amounts. I think the highest, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches across parts of really West Virginia, stretching into Tennessee. Not expecting a whole lot in the way of flooding, but still it'll slow you down on the roads here for the next 2 days in some of those locations. And then snowfall amounts, maybe 1/2 of a foot in some spots, none, as you've noted, Savannah, in parts of New York City.
You don't
Instead,
say.
57 degrees is what you get for the high today. So no snow for you just
not right, by the way.
Yeah, it's not right.
Degrees.
It's 14 degrees above
a week
normal.
before Christmas. All right. Thank you, Angie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.